Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show, Monday, October 13th episode. Lots of stuff going on around the NBA. We've got preseason, not quite wrapping up. Again, closer. We're inching closer to the start of the regular season, which is coming up next week. We've got some injuries, things like that to break down, some potential roster moves, the future of Russell Westbrook. Lots of stuff to talk about on today's show. I am Trevor Lane, joined by Keith Smith. Keith, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Trevor. It was good weekend. We had a soccer tournament, one of the last ones before the high school season starts here. High school soccer is a winter sport here in Florida, so we get go as much of winter as we have here in Florida. And speaking on that note, when I let the dogs out this morning, there was a little chill in the air, so I was like, "Oh, yay, let's go. It's time." It was a little bit of who let the dogs out. It was
does a chill in the air mean it was like 78?
It was in the 60s. It was in the low
okay.
60s.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah,
all right.
man, I'll take
this
it.
California boy can get on board with that. All right.
Yeah, it starts feeling fall-ish here in Florida. I'm all about. So, yeah, there we were.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our news and
let's not bury the lead. Let's go.
This is a rarity. A rarity that we are starting with news that is actually about us.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Anything but horrifying.
It is not horrifying at all. We have NBA Front Office Show news. Keith, I'm so happy we finally get to share this with everybody. If you saw it, the NBA issued a press release this morning that the NBA announced a new multi-platform streaming offering and reimagined NBA TV, which will offer nonstop basketball content and original programming. I highlighted that this does include the NBA Front Office Show. Let's go. The NBA Front Office Show will now be available on NBA streaming platforms. Keith and I put it out there on X. We're very, very excited to partner with the NBA to bring you all the latest news and look at everything through the lens of front office moves, just like we do here on the show. And Keith, man, this is a big time moment for me, for sure. I will admit, maybe when the announcement first came out this morning, it may have gotten a little dusty in here. It was the culmination, I think, or another big step anyway, of a long career that you and I have both embarked upon here, and we're both so excited to be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely no complaints about the path we've taken, but it's hard work. And there are there's whether you're writing or doing this, doing a show, podcasting, whatever it may be, there's a lot of moments along the way where you're like, is anyone reading? Is anyone listening? Is anyone watching? Does anyone care? Mm-hmm. And it's part of it. Every single person who does this has gone through those moments at points in time. And this is just further validation of a lot of people do care. And then as cool as the news is, it's always so heartening when we share news and then you get the people who reach out to you. And that part has been really cool today. A lot of really nice notes on social media, a lot of really nice notes in emails and texts and everything else. So I know you're getting all the same stuff. It's just been super cool. We're excited. It's been in the works for a minute, but we're finally there. I think you guys probably saw, because we tweeted, we did a little pilot, I guess would be the way to put it, where we did have one of our shows was on the app. So, and now here's the really good news. If you're like, man, I like watching NBA Front Office Show on YouTube, or I like listening to the podcast version, nothing changes for you.
Exactly.
You can just do that, but now it's just another way you can find us, as well as through whether it be the NBA app, the website, whatever they decide to do. We'll be a part of it. We're really, really excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thrilled to be partnering with the NBA, as I said. But again, to squash any concerns, any fears that anybody may have, no, this does not mean the show is going behind a paywall. Doesn't change the frequency of our content. Doesn't change what we're doing or anything like that. So again, nothing changing there. Just now there is another way to access us, and then gives us that relationship as well with the NBA. So again, we're very, very excited about this. And thank you again to everybody who has reached out.
We'll also say this. They were very direct with us. They don't want us to change the way we do the show.
Correct.
Do what we do. Talk how we talk about the NBA and how we talk about basketball. There's no like oversight on them of like, hey, don't talk about this or that or anything like that. And that otherwise, to be completely honest,
it wouldn't be the show.
Probably wouldn't be doing it this way. Maybe we would have done something different, but this show will continue to be the same show that you guys have been watching for days, months, years, however long you've been with us. We're just happy to be moving things forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Another step forward for the NBA front office show. And we can't wait until our shows are fully uploaded on there and you guys can watch them there. You can also, again, watch them on YouTube, the podcast feed and all of that.
You should probably be watching everywhere and
please do
listening to the podcast too, right? Like, or at least downloading everything like that.
Help the show out any way that you can. But again, big news. And yeah, Keith, I certainly took a moment this morning to pause and reflect. So very, very cool and very appreciative of all the well wishes.
I did as well. I was it's funny because I got the tweet notification that it was out, and then somebody texted me within like a couple minutes of it being out, and I hadn't even looked at it yet. I was deep into the middle of updating cap sheets. And then I was like, wait, what? Oh, this is out there. And then and I just kind of sat for a minute and thought about it and told my wife and daughter that my daughter's because it's holiday here. So just really, really cool. And we're gonna keep doing what we do and keep going as far as we can.
Absolutely. Keith, somebody messaged me and said, I think it was in a reply on X, and said, and to think this all started from Keith with replying to message board posts on Real GM, right? Like the thing, I mean, but I did the same thing. I thought, man, this all started from saying I would write for free over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Just aggregating Lakers news and stuff, and it all started there, and we've just worked and worked and worked and worked. And we do it because we love it, because we love this. We love doing that. That's why it doesn't feel like work. We love doing this, but pretty cool moment to stop and reflect on, where we've been and where we are now. And then the exciting part is where the show's going for sure.
Yeah, man, we owe it all to a year in advance of Lakers planning around Luol Deng's dead money on the cap for you and I coming together, because that's how we linked up.
One day when we have more scheduled nonsense time, we'll tell the full story again, because I'm sure some people would like to hear how this show actually came about.
We've got a ton of news to get to and not a lot of time.
It's a busy day. So let's get into it. Keegan Murray, unfortunately, UCL injury, out 4 to 6 weeks. Thumbs down. That's right.
Yeah.
Thumbs down. Out 4 to 6 weeks. And Keith, this is, Keegan Murray, the 3-point percentage has dropped each of the last few years. That it's something worth noting, but he's in contract negotiations with the Kings on a potential extension. And on top of that, he's really, when you talk about skill set, he's really not the kind of guy this Kings team could. They need more Keegan Murrays, more Keon Ellises on this team. And so losing, this is a tough blow for Sacramento.
Yeah, big time. Not a lot of depth at the 4 for this team. I had a Kings fan when I said not a lot of depth. He's like, you mean by not a lot, 0 depth, which is not wrong. I
mean, DeRozan is playing the 4 now.
Yeah, DeRozan will, and that's my guess is they just slide him up. Probably Levine maybe moves up to the 3 and you play a 3-guard group with DeRozan and Sabonis and lean even more heavily into the offense. From there, I mean, Dario Saric, that's not an answer at this point in his career. Doug McDermott is on this team as well, I guess, for some shooting. Nate Clifford will probably get some run, but he's much more the 2-3 size than a 4. So yeah, they're gonna have to figure some stuff out in Sacramento. And remember too, you're playing with a team where as much as I'm a massive fan of Domantas Sabonis, he's not a anchor big on defense at all. Just not what he does. So they're going to have to lean even more heavily into the offense and go from there. 4 to 6 weeks, not the end of the world. That's even if we say 6 weeks, that's probably the first month and a half-ish of the season. Season starts a week from tomorrow. So we're probably call it a month and a half and before he's back out and running. And it is the thumb in his non-shooting hand. So that's good news. Maybe he can still do some, conditioning work, still do some work with his offhand or his shooting hand, because it's in his offhand. So yeah, we'll see how that comes together, but just not how you want to start the year.
Certainly not. Definitely not how you want to get things going for the season for Keegan Murray or the Sacramento Kings.
I will say this real quick,
too.
I reached out to somebody because it was like, just with the Kings, it was like, no chance this has any like impact. And they're like, not at all on extension negotiations, because he's been extremely durable in his first 3 years. I think his first 3 years in the league, he's missed 13 total games. And I think like half of those were like, hey, you're going to sit today. So he's also never come off the bench in his 3 years as a King, which is
correct.
That's becoming increasingly more rare. Maybe he's only come off the bench like once or twice.
Twice. Yeah, I'm just looking now. Twice. He's come off the bench.
Yeah, I knew it was very
stats,
small.
and I'm like, wait.
But yeah, I mean, look at that. That's like 80 games, 77 games, 76 games.
Yeah.
Once you get past 70-ish games, with just guys get rest days now, you're pretty much like, yeah, this guy's always available. So, here we go.
Presenting sponsor for the front office show is Sleeper. If you've ever heard of the Sleeper app, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualizations on all stats, plus a news feed. This is so critical for me. Get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, a real-time chat you can engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA season. So download the #1 sports app today and experience it for yourself. If you can see, I've made a couple of season-long picks there. Some deep cuts. We've got Tyler Warren for the Indianapolis Colts. NFL season is here. I've got him more than 550.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to be a big part of that offense. And then Zach Charbonnet, essentially, I'm saying I don't think that Ken Walker is going to wind up staying healthy all season. I've got him more than 499.5 rushing yards. I think the opportunities will be there for Charbonnet. So click that link in the description down below. Use the promo code CAPSPACE, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Now, I think the only way it could influence the contract extension at all is you look at the 3-point percentage, which I referenced.
Sure.
This now takes away the possibility. And by the way, he has not shot well in the 2 preseason games that he played, but this takes away the possibility that he plays through preseason and shoots lights out, and then the Kings feel even more comfortable that he's going to be, that the 3-point percentage is going to go back the other direction. Is it significant? No, they like him as a player. It's not going to change that much, but maybe it takes away that he could have eased any concerns about his shooting numbers dropping each of the last, since his rookie season. So,
and I'm going to maintain last year, I think, was rough because, look, he only got 11 shots per game total.
Yeah,
last season.
There wasn't much rhythm to be had.
Yeah, there. Keegan Murray, just when you're playing on a team that has DeRozan and Sabonis and then Fox for most of the year, and then Levine at the end of the year, you're going to be the 4th or 5th option. Malik Monk gets a ton of run too, and when you're that 4th or 5th option, sometimes it's a lot of standing in the corner, waiting and hoping the ball comes your way. But part of that is if that's going to be your role in the team, you got to knock those shots down. Necessarily wasn't doing that as much, but I'm still very high on Keegan Murray. I'm big fan.
You have been from the day of the draft. I remember you being so excited about him. All right, let's go here. Russell Westbrook and the Kings have mutual interest. We've been talking about this all summer, but there's more confirmation that number one, Russ is not going to go play overseas. He's not going to go play in China right now or anything like that. But also that the Kings are still interested in him. Now, what we've been hearing for all summer, and Sam Amick reiterated this just the other day, is that Sacramento has interest in Russ if they can move a guard off of their roster. That would give them space for him. So what could that look like? Let's just go to our next topic. Devin Carter is available in trade. Could the Kings offload Devin Carter? I guess let me change that. Should the Kings offload Devin Carter in order to bring in Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, that's the better way, I think, to phrase it. I don't know that I would. I get where they're coming from. You have Dennis Schroeder, you have Malik Monk, you have Zach LaVine. Those are three guards who can be on ball guys. Then you have Keon Ellis, and right now you have Devin Carter. So bringing in Westbrook on top of all those guys, that's probably doing too much at one position. But I don't know. Westbrook, I think people have gone way too far on him of like, he's terrible. He can't play anymore. He's put together a pretty nice season in Denver. And Sabonis is kind of Jokic-ish as far as playing with a big that can run the offense through him. So Westbrook, I think, could have another really good year, in him. Devin Carter's 23. He's like 10, 15 years younger than Russell Westbrook. I don't know exactly what the years are there, but quite a bit younger.
37, so
14 years younger. And Devin Carter's a guy a lot of people were really high on. Then had that shoulder injury before his rookie season, missed over half of his rookie year with that and other injuries. And maybe they are like, man, we don't think he's ever going to get there. And we brought in Schroeder, and are we ever going to actually get to the point where we start this guy? And that's why they're looking to move him. But I don't know. I feel like those are sometimes the short-sighted moves that don't pay off, because you trade Devin Carter to, I want to say the Nets because they have cap space, but they also have 1,000 point guards on their roster. But I don't know, whoever, Washington. And then the next thing you know, Devin Carter is playing amazing. You're like, oh man, we kind of blew it there, huh? Like, what were we thinking? So I don't hate the idea of it. I don't know that it's something I would do.
Yeah, agreed. I've been saying it all summer. I don't love the fit of Russ in Sacramento. Like, is he a good enough player to be in the NBA? Absolutely. He should be on an NBA roster somewhere. The question is where it's the fit. It's the fit that's the problem with him, and trying to figure that out is really tough. I don't think the fit is necessarily right in Sacramento, but should they do something drastic in order to move his salary just to bring in Russ? I don't think so. I think Sacramento could use shot creation in their second unit. I don't know that Russ, with the efficiency concerns, should be that guy. But again, should you go move a young, like Keith said, a young player like Devin Carter? Probably not if you're Sacramento.
And I feel like I don't know about the Devin Carter part, but I do think this is ultimately where we're going to see Russ this year. It just seems like there's too many connections there between him and people on the team and the people, that are around the team, as well as it's California. We know he would like to be on the West Coast where his family is. So, yeah, I think there's a chance this is how this one plays out.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's jump over to the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, they should be, given the makeup of this roster. They're hoping for a good pick in the 2026 NBA draft, Keith. I don't know if it will be the top pick. I mean, the way the lottery odds are, you can't say. Even you could have the worst record in the NBA and not get the top pick. Just ask the Detroit Pistons, right? Or any other number of teams, right? The Utah Jazz,
Wizards,
the Washington Wizards, right? You may not get the top pick, but I think the Nets can feel pretty confident they will have a high pick in the draft this year.
Yeah, and this one came from Joe Tsai, was on a podcast. It's either a business or tech podcast. I apologize, I don't know which one it is. I think it's called the All In Pod. But he was asked, what kind of year is your team gonna have? And he was very candid and said, you look at the way we're put together, we're rebuilding. I have to say that. And he said, and because of that, we're hoping to get a pick. He referenced they have their own pick. Remember, they got that back in that trade with the Rockets. I believe that was one of the ones that was returned to them. And there's no conditions on this one, where then they've got ones the next couple of years that have some conditions attached to them. So I think they're feeling like, yeah, this is a chance to really get that good high pick. And there are people who are starting to get really fired up for this draft class. Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa.
You're right.
The Boozer twins are both in this draft. Both Carlos Boozer's two sons, and then you got Nate Amen is a kid I know a lot of people are high on. So there's a lot of guys out there. It's we haven't even started the NBA season, so we're certainly not going to spend a ton of time on draft stuff today. But yeah, and I think if you look at this Nets roster, yeah, I mean you are filled with, I mean, Haywood Highsmith's like, and Terrence Mann are like sitting on the rocking chairs on the porch, like the old men here,
right?
29. Like everybody else is, careers are kind of, either literally just getting started or, they're not that deep into them. So it's they've been fun to watch in the preseason because there's just a lot of new young guys that are doing stuff, and then but as far as winning goes, probably not going to be a lot of it happening.
Exactly. Probably not going to see a lot of that going on with the Nets, but I still think, Keith, like in hindsight, looking back at that Mikal Bridges trade that they made, I still think their future is now brighter, even though Nets fans are going to have to go through some difficult times here.
Yep.
That's okay. To steal a Hinkyism, trust the process. I think everything is looking better for the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to continue to be opportunistic with their cap space. They're going to continue to make moves that are going to build what looks to be a bright future. It may take some time. You're going to have to be patient, and that's not easy, but I do think the Nets are moving down the right path right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they're in a far better place there. I've said it over and over again. This team now far more interesting to me than a team that was just going to battle for the play-in tournament for a period of years, which is really where they were kind of sitting post KD trade before fully pivoting to rebuilding. And that's, it comes with a lot of losses. But I think basketball fans in general, if you're honest with them and you have a plan, they're fine with, all right, lose games. It's not the end of the world, but don't lose games playing a bunch of dudes who are 27 to 32. Like, let's lose games with 19, 20, 21-year-olds playing a lot of minutes and getting experience. And I think just, again, by nature of this roster, that's how that's going to come together for Brooklyn. And I think that's fine. I think Nets fans will get it, and they'll be okay with that.
All right, let's go here. Alex Antetokounmpo to the Bucks on a two-way deal. Another Antetokounmpo brother joining the Milwaukee Bucks. Keith, I will free the. I don't know a ton about Alex Antetokounmpo. I know he bounced around the G League a bit, but I don't know a ton about him as a prospect. How much of this is his last name is Antetokounmpo versus how much of this is the Bucks really think he can do something on a two-way spot?
Yeah, Alex Antetokounmpo.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he's not an NBA level player. Like,
okay,
he's a decent player, but for him to be on a two-way, it's just this doesn't make a ton of sense. But if it keeps Giannis happy and keeps him in Milwaukee, then it makes all the sense in the world. Because to be honest, it's a two-way spot. It's not. Yeah, you'd rather be giving it to somebody who you're developing and ready to step in and maybe play if you need him to play a rotation role, but that's especially at the beginning of the season, you're hopefully not really too worried about that. And because it's a two-way, if the Bucks do find themselves, man, we need somebody ready, they can always waive him and go in that direction. But more if it keeps Giannis happy, let's go. It's certainly not going to hurt anything. It's now we'll see if Kostas pops up on a roster spot because he doesn't have any two-way eligibility.
Right
now, you start to be like, all right, how many roster spots are we gonna invest in this?
I think that the Bucks are just trying to make it more difficult, more of a tearjerker for should Giannis actually decide to leave Milwaukee. He's saying, "Oh, you're going to leave your family too." They're trying to play that angle here.
The kids are in Greece, and you're leaving your brothers in Milwaukee.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a feeling if he is traded, we might see Thanasis and Alex in the deal. I'm just gonna go out on a limb saying.
I mean, we've talked about like if the Lakers were to trade LeBron, like Bronny's probably in the trade. I would assume.
There's a chance. Yeah. Yep, for sure.
All right, let's jump over to some injury news. Moses Moody out for the preseason with a calf injury. I think Moses Moody has come along nicely for the Golden State Warriors. But he's going to miss the remainder of preseason. Hopefully he's good to go for the start of the regular season. But Moody out with the calf injury. You got to be careful during preseason. You never want to see injuries. We've already seen too many across the NBA. So be careful with it, and hopefully he'll be back in time for the regular season to start up.
I believe from the reporting, Steve Kerr's exact quote was, "I'm not too concerned."
Yeah.
So that hopefully means hey, he's going to sit down for the next week, and then we'll get him back out there. The week after, maybe he misses the first couple of games. They open at the Lakers, right? I believe on opening night, if I have that correct. So we'll see if he's in there. It is just worth noting their first two games when they did play a lot of their guys. Moses Moody started both games, and I had kind of written in Brandon Pajemski as the fifth starter.
Yeah,
maybe it will be Moses Moody. It looks like it's probably going to be Horford, Green, Butler, Curry, and then fifth spot is whoever, and Moody, Pajemski, maybe DeAnthony Melton, who was starting before he got hurt last year.
He's not recovered yet, though.
Yeah, he won't be ready until I think they're thinking December-ish.
Yeah,
for him. So maybe when he's ready, he starts. But yeah, Moses Moody's a nice player. Gives him a little bit of another defender in there, another 3-and-D-ish guy.
Yeah, can play with some force as well. So he's a guy that I like.
Yeah, I like Moses Moody.
Let's go on to here. Unfortunate for the Mavs, Dante Exum out for an extended period, especially with the Mavs team that's already missing Kyrie Irving. D'Angelo Russell can certainly fill in, but Exum gives you a different level when we talk about the defensive side of the basketball. So Exum being out for an extended period now, it's a Mavs team that's already trying to hang on with Kyrie Irving out. Now they'll have to deal with a little bit less depth as well.
Yeah, so Kyrie's out. Scroll that down just a little because all their other guys are on lower contracts. So if you stop right about there, you've got primary backcourt ball handlers. I'll just put it that way. D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Williams, and then Ryan Nembhard on a two-way. Yes, they're going to run a bunch of the offense through Anthony Davis. Cooper Flagg's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Jaden Hardy can do some stuff with the ball, but you're very, very limited. And Dante Exum at least was another guy who you could put the ball in his hands and let him kind of run things a little bit. And you're a little stuck. And then this is a Dallas team, important to note, much like last year, they're right up against that second apron hard cap, and that they're not going to be able to go over it. And that's got them in a little bit of a tough spot. So we'll see, right? We're gonna see where this goes. None of the updates on Kyrie Irving have been worrisome, but none of them have been he'll be back in December or January or any time. They're basically he looks good. He's doing what he needs to do. We're happy with his recovery. There's no timeline. So that is all right. We'll see, but yeah, they're gonna have to really get by just again without another guy. And Jason Kidd, when he talked about this Exum, it's a knee soreness thing. He pretty much said, it's going to be a while. This is not going to be, he's back in another week or two. So that part's a little worrisome.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So, especially with the season starting up so soon, it's next week. So not a lot of time there for the Mavs. All right, let's jump over.
Yeah, let's flip it the other way.
Another Texas team, Dylan Harper back on the court.
Yeah.
And Keith, he didn't play a ton, but he looked awfully good out there. Dylan Harper did. He was slithering to the basket. He had a nice corner three. Had a nice. I believe it was a lob to Wemby. Even
it was.
Had a nice lob over the top to Wemby. Good timing on it and everything.
We'll only see 1,000 more of those hopefully
exactly for the next
years.
Decade. Dylan Harper looked absolutely fantastic. So he's back on the court, recovered. What was that again? Was it wrist or thumb?
Thumb. It was his thumb, and there was. The timeline again was pretty vague, and we weren't sure. At the time, it was this might cost them the beginning of the season, and now clearly not going to. Now remember, De'Aaron Fox is out, so De'Aaron Fox is probably gonna not. It seems very likely he was the one who said himself that he probably wouldn't be ready opening night, and Stephon Castle has been out as well. So instead of having how are we going to get all these guys on the court? At least Dylan Harper's back, and we'll see him out there. I would not be shocked if I wouldn't be shocked either way, but Dylan Harper might start opening night, But the Spurs kind of went up with almost like a point guardless lineup in their first couple of preseason games. Devin Vassell more or less took on that role, but they're again running like everything through Wemby. So it's at that point it's gonna be good. Boy, just the extra Spurs note, Wemby looks. I mean, look, he looks ready to be the destroyer of worlds here.
Did you see him just absolutely crush Luke Cornett?
Yeah.
Was that a week ago when they did their inter squad scrimmage?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I wonder if Luke Cornett was like, "Can I go back to the Celtics, please?" Like, this was cool.
Well, no, he was like, "Hey, I have to practice. At least I don't have to play against him."
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's true. So yeah, but it is. Yeah, I mean, it's so good to see because that was a scary thing with Wemby, right? When that first came out, you're like, "Is he going to be all right?" Remember, there was like, "Is this a Chris Bosh like situation where like that could be it?" And they, by all accounts, they got it squared away. And I mean, he's talked about how like he trained harder than he's ever trained in his entire life this offseason. And you're already getting some of the like, I'm working so hard and training and in practices to make the games easy. Like, all right, dude, you're 7'5". The game's already kind of easy for you. Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, this is it's not going to be this year, but man, I don't know how many more years we're going to be saying it's, before like this is just Wemby's league and everybody else is trying to figure it out as best they can.
Well, and the final point here on the Spurs and Dylan Harper and all that is, if Harper plays as well as what we've seen, so tiny sample size, of course, but looked very good. If Ace Bailey is just not missing any shots ever, like, I'm not going to pick against Cooper Flagg for Rookie of the Year.
Sure.
But there's at least going to be some other names in the conversation, at least. And that I think is really exciting.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's what you want, right? We always want guys to emerge. We want this to be a league that is full of awesome players because the more awesome players in the league, the better it is to cover, the better the basketball is. And but it's Spurs have a lot of questions they've got to answer this year. I think people have gotten a little too far ahead of themselves with San Antonio. We'll talk about it when we get into probably later this week, our preseason predictions and the like. We'll try to get those done. But it is like they're going to be good as long as Wemby is there. But a big part of this is how do you make Fox, Harper, and Castle all work together? What is that going to look like? And if they can start to get those answers this year, it might be a little bit bumpy, but then for the next few years to come, you're in a really good place.
Exactly. Okay, let's go here. Rookie scale extensions. What's the deadline, Keith? Clock's ticking.
Yeah, Monday. Monday is the deadline, the 20th. So we got a week.
6 Eastern time. Is that right?
I believe so. That sounds right. It's something like that. It is. Yeah. Rookie scale extensions is 6 p.m. because of course we got to do one that's like not 5 and not the end of the day. Just because how else would I say it?
Just mix up all the. They do it for you, Keith. They just want to keep you on your toes.
Yeah. But it's going to be a busy week. Rookie scale extensions. Veteran extensions also need to get done if players have more than 1 year remaining on their contract and they're extension eligible. Outside of if it's a true option year, player or team, those need to get done. So it's going to be a busy week with that. We're also going to see hundreds of waivers and signings, and then those guys get waived as teams line guys up for the G League. We are not going to cover every single one of those because the show would be 5 hours long every day. But if a real notable player pops in on one of those, we will talk about it. If it's like, hey, this guy's kind of interesting because of X, Y, and Z, veteran guy or whatever. But rookie scale extension, just a couple pieces of news. We already talked about it. You mentioned Keegan Murray. They're moving forward. Sounds like maybe something gets done there. But Walker Kessler, we got news. Probably not happening, right? Probably not. There's two reasons for that. One is, I don't know where things are at with him and the Jazz anyway. That seems a little odd. But also he has a very low cap hold because remember, he's picked in the 20s. So the Jazz are going to be a cap space team next year. So chances are, hey, why lock into money right now for Walker Kessler? So that's one where...
And he expressed that he's not super thrilled with that.
Yeah, does not seem super happy about it, which I don't blame him because... his role has been kind of jerked around over the last couple of seasons too. He went from being like man, what a cool starter on a team that could be a playoff team, to, hey, we're not going to start you, to, hey, you're going to start, but we're barely going to play you.
And they stopped starting him coming off of his Team USA appearance a couple summers ago. And so I think that was extra frustrating. He's like, wait a second, I'm one of the best young bigs in the league. I just got picked for Team USA for the World Cup. And now I come back to my club and I'm not even a starter. Like, I think he was frustrated with that.
Lakers legend Mark Williams unlikely to agree to a extension. But that one, he's not even on the court really fully. That one's so weird. I don't really get it. Like, I don't understand what's going on with the Suns. I didn't understand making that trade after drafting Kama Malwatch anyway. So
I think they set that trade up before they knew they could get Malwatch in the draft. And then once they got Malwatch, they said, well, okay, we'll still honor this and go through with the deal that we
set up all in a row on that.
The
one who's actually been starting is down lower, Oso Iguodala, my guy. Let's go. He's been starting for them at the 5. So just weird,
I would assume do you think that's going to change when, like, Mark Williams has not been available? I would assume when Mark Williams is available, he'll be the starter.
I would imagine. I would hope. So,
by the way, speaking of Mark Williams, did you see what happened in last night's game with Draymond Green and Dalton Connect?
I didn't.
Apparently, they're at the free throw line, and apparently Dalton Connect was saying some things to Draymond, which, I mean, never do that, right? But Draymond said something to the effect of, "Why are you how you can't talk to me? You got traded and then traded back." I was like, oh man,
that's true. Yeah. Well, it was a game like fairly early on after the trade where the other team's fans are chanting, "They don't want you."
Oh yeah.
At Dalton Connect, So, hey, Dalton Connect, go out there and ball out, and then who cares what they
that's
say?
It.
Right?
Then nobody could say anything.
And then the only other one I want to mention is Christian Brown with the Nuggets. Sounds like maybe something will get done there. Sounds like he's looking for $25 million a year starting, or like that's like the average salary, at least in that range. So that's pretty big bump up. And then when you look at that Nuggets cap sheet, the column to focus on is the second one over, that 26-27, $59 million for Jokic, 50 for Murray, 32 for Gordon, 23 for Johnson. There are $25 million on there for Christian Brown. You're talking, you're going to be living in second apron territory at that point. And that then maybe Valanciunas is not on the team next year. Maybe Zeke Naji is finally moved. And
this is right back where the Nuggets were, though, where they had to make the tough call on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and ultimately let him go.
Yeah. I mean, and Christian Brown is 24. Like, it's not. You probably want to. My thing would be, this is it. I said this a lot with the Celtics, and the day eventually came. Take care of your guys. Let tomorrow's problems be tomorrow's problems, and you deal with it when you have to. Like, don't break up title teams before you absolutely have reason to do it. So,
right.
And I think by any measure, the Nuggets are a title team. So just
for sure,
keep going. But yeah, so that's where we're at.
All right. Well, fun show today.
Yeah.
Again, got to lead off with front office show news. Not often we get to do that. So we were excited there. And we got the regular season coming up and lots of stuff going on around the league. Now the preseason is, what are we, halfway through? Maybe a little bit more than halfway through preseason play. So
we only have 5 days of games left.
That's right.
That's it. Through Friday. Dude, we're like there, man. It is.
We're there.
Season is a week and a day away. By the time some people listen to this, it'll be a week away. So
the season's upon us. It's that time of year. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Make sure you do subscribe to the show on the YouTube channel, over on the podcast feed as well, over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.